Amazon stands as one of the wealthiest corporations in the world, built on the relentless efforts of hardworking associates. Yet behind these towering profits lies a stark reality. Workers toiling under grueling conditions, struggling to make ends meet. In January 2022, a coalition of current and former Amazon employees came together to form C.A.U.S.E, Carolina Amazonians United for Solidarity and Empowerment. This worker-led movement fights against exploitation and corruption, demanding justice for those who power Amazon's success. Amazon associates endure long hours at hazardous speeds. With few breaks and minimal resources to address the toll on their physical and mental health, injuries are common, exhaustion is constant, and the pressure, unrelenting. For many, even the basic needs like food and housing remain out of reach. And C.A.U.S.E is working to change this reality. They demand a livable wage that reflects today's rising cost of living, a starting wage of $30 per hour, a safer working conditions that prioritize human well-being over corporate greed. But the road is not easy. Amazon has fought back with intimidation tactics, surveillance, and systemic efforts to suppress unionization. Despite these challenges, C.A.U.S.E remains steadfast in its mission to empower workers through education, engagement, and collective action. Unionizing efforts at Amazon's RDU1 warehouse in North Carolina represent a pivotal moment for worker power in the South, a region where union density is among the lowest in the country. C.A.U.S.E envisions a fairer future, not just for Amazonians, but for entire communities. And the fight continues for livable wages, for dignity, for justice. C.A.U.S.E is building a movement that cannot be ignored, a movement that demands Amazon recognize the humanity of its workforce. And join C.A.U.S.E. Together, we can build a better future.
Without the benefit of a union, Amazon will continue to be the controlling slave driver, scamazon that we call them. It's a new plantation. We're just not picking cotton or tobacco, we're picking packages. The demands of more, faster rate. If you hit your rate, they want more. We're tired of it. And we're tired of the bogus write-ups. How do you get written up when you're not even at work? There's nobody that they have to be accountable to. So, those of us that work at RDU1, that put in the long, grueling hours, that deal with their insensitivity, their lack of empathy, we're tired of that. We are not robots. We deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And we deserve to be paid a living wage.
Earlier this year, during one of the captive audience meetings at RDU1, one of Scamazon's union busters whispered in my ear, and I quote, "Nigger, you're going to sit your ass down in this meeting and not say a single word." I was terminated while a union buster who whispered these racist comments continues to receive a daily compensation of $3,200 to dissuade low-wage workers from seeking improved wages and working conditions. However, C.A.U.S.E extends beyond my personal grievances, as it is focused on collectively building a better Amazon for all employees. Scamazon, the world's fourth richest company, invests millions of dollars annually in efforts to oppose its employees' demands for a $30 hour minimum wage, extended breaks, paid sick leave, transparency in policy, fixing machines, and an end to discriminatory practices. My termination and the rest of some of our organizers has been a difficult moment, but we're using it to escalate our fight. We're more than ever committed to unionizing RDU1 and fighting like hell for justice in Garner, the Carolinas, and beyond. And remember, don't quit. Organize.
So get ready to clap again. I'm going to do a bio. And you're going to give a real big round of applause to bring on up here. And after you set this on fire with a speech, we're going to give another round of applause to appreciate her. Shower and praise right now. But as some of y'all may know, our sister Mary Hill, having grown up in the Jim Crow South in Selby, Louisiana, and battling our own personal battles with disease, with addiction, with all the degrading, moralizing, dehumanizing things that come with life, like jails and institutions, in some cases death. After dealing with all this, it's no wonder our sister Mary is no stranger to struggle. She remembers the signs she used to see when her and her mother would go to the grocery store that said colored only and pointed for them to go to the back of the store. And to this day, those memories are vivid in our sister Mary's mom. She doesn't believe in luck or coincidence. She believes that every situation happens for a reason. It's an opportunity to learn a particular lesson. It's an opportunity for growth. And this cycle of life will repeat itself until we learn that lesson. This is the process by which character is formed and developed. So Mary Hill, Mother Mary, as she's fondly known as by her friends and her co-workers, has been at Amazon as an associate out there for 4 years, and that's at the factory located in Garner, North Carolina. She's also known as an activist and an organizer, one of the strongest organizers that we got out here. She's currently organizing our workplace at Amazon with our brother and co-founder, Reverend Ryan Brown. She and Reverend Ryan started C.A.U.S.E, that's Carolina Amazonians United for Solidarity and Empowerment, during the COVID pandemic. Mary works to educate and train our co-workers in the skill of inoculation and in educating them on their rights as workers and the power of collective bargaining within the workplace. Our sister Mary also strives to empower her co-workers to encourage them to support each other because everybody deserves respect and dignity at their jobs. And in their most recent organizing efforts, they were not in vain. After 3 years of organizing, C.A.U.S.E turned in union cards that were signed by 30% of the workers out there at Amazon RDU1, triggering a union vote. That by itself was an historical moment this year. Our sister Mary has found her passion. She's found her purpose to stand and fight back, to be a voice for the oppressed, the underpaid, and the overlooked. Mary echoes the words of revolutionaries from our past. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? We have a voice, and we demand to be heard. So with that, y'all give it up for our sister leader, Sister Mary Hill.
Good evening, everybody. Wow. I want to thank Brother Unganza for that eloquent introduction. I just don't know what to say. I mean, it's such an honor to be here as I look out over the audience and see familiar faces and unfamiliar faces, man, on this, the 40th anniversary of MLK, the labor struggle. That is such an honor. See, I remember MLK. Before I get started and get into what I really came to say, I want to thank Brother Ajamu or whomever invited me to speak. Thank you so much. It is such an honor. And I cannot accept any credit. And I'm gonna try not to get emotional, guys, but I'm a very passionate person. If it weren't for God of my understanding that I talk to and pray to daily, especially working at the place where I work. And my C.A.U.S.E family, would my C.A.U.S.E family please stand? If it wasn't for them and hundreds of others just like them, I would not be here. Especially that one, the other co-founder had that did not stand up, Reverend Ryan. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank UE 150 for the invitation. My name is Mary Hill. My co-workers and close friends fondly call me Mom Mary, because I'm always trying to make sure everybody else is okay. Because if you're not okay, then I'm going to try to keep it clean because we got some minors. And by God, if you're not okay, I'm not okay. If you're my friend and you're my co-worker, if you're not okay, Mom Mary is not okay. My name is Mary Hill. I am a product of the Jim Crow South and that little town that back then wasn't as big as a speck is Sibley, Louisiana. It's 30 miles east of Shreveport and about 25 miles west of Monroe, Louisiana. I went to Grambling State for a while, but college just wasn't for me. I stand before you today as a mother, as a sister, organizer, and co-founder of C.A.U.S.E, Carolina Amazonians United for Solidarity and Empowerment. Now, I wrote some notes, but I usually speak from my heart because I have such a passion for this. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me if I go off track, okay? But most of all, I stand before you today as a believer in the divine justice that guides our steps and strengthens our fights. We're part of a legacy. I don't know if you guys realize that. Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. But it's a legacy built by our ancestors. You heard mention of Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, the Panthers, Angela Davis. Those were warriors, not just our ancestors. They were warriors, warriors who fought for dignity, freedom, and equality. If it weren't for the struggles and sacrifices that they made back then, we wouldn't be in this banquet room today. Are you aware of that? No, really. A lot of the amenities and privileges that we have today, we wouldn't have. Are you aware that Black people just got the right to vote in 1965? That wasn't that long ago, people. But they were warriors who fought for those things. And in the words of one of my favorite predecessors, Fannie Lou Hamer, who once said, nobody's free until everybody is free. And we're not free, my brothers and sisters. We've been asleep, a lot of us have. And when she spoke those words, she was not just talking about political freedom. No, by no means. She was talking about the freedom and freedoms that God intended for all of us. Each and every one of us sitting here, and your children, your children's children. That's what she meant. A freedom that's not given by the oppressor, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but what I like to call him a lot of times is Mr. Buck. That's not freedom. They've given us crumbs. They've given us crumbs and lulled us into a sense of complacency. And we have gotten much, much too comfortable in that space of complacency with the crumbs that the oppressor continues to give us and make us think that we're free. But the freedom that we're fighting for is the freedom where we claim, where we stand in our truth, where we stand in our power. See, that's what a lot of us can realize. How many of you out there know that we really have the power? Wow, I don't see but a few hands. Like they just sang in that song about the dime. He wouldn't see a dime if it wasn't for who? For us, people like us, the workers. They wouldn't make the money that they make if we didn't get up and go to work. No. And we need to remind them of that because they have forgotten them. We forgot. You see? You caught that. We forgot. And they're banking on us not remembering. But it's time that we woke up, people. It's long overdue. And it's a freedom that we claim when we stand in our faith. In our faith. We're fighting to protect what is rightfully ours. And I'm not talking about material possessions. No, far from it. I'm talking about our humanity, our dignity.
10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm Mr. Body Catcher, Slaughter Gangs.
Visit buckedup.com today and use code McMedia1 at checkout for exclusive deals on all fitness products at buckedup.com.
In our rightful place in this world. But we're fighting also for our children, our families, our communities. It's bigger than us. Reverend Ron and I tell him all the time, we might be the co-founders of C.A.U.S.E, but it ain't even about me or about him. It's much bigger than that. Do you realize the big picture? I know not everybody has a vision, but can you, just for a minute maybe, think about the big picture here? It's not just about the right here, the right now. Because think about this. You've heard us talk about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, the Panthers. Oh, I can't ever think of his name. He was a part of SNCC. Anyway, those are our ancestors, our predecessors. Now, what were they fighting for when they were fighting? Weren't they fighting for dignity, respect, and equality, for justice way back then? Were they? So, why are we in 2025? At least last time I looked at my calendar, that's what it said, 2025. What y'all's calendar say? So, but when I hear my coworkers talk about being called a nigger on the job, and when I have experiences like I have when I was at work one day working at my station, and I heard this voice from across the room, hey, 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 you, hey. And she was hollering loud, hey, hey, you. So she got closer. I looked. I thought she was talking to somebody behind me. I didn't think she was talking to me. And when she got closer, she was still saying, hey, hey, you, I need to talk to you. And I said, excuse me. She was a man at work. I said, excuse me, you talking to me? I said, I thought you were talking to somebody behind me. I said, because where I'm from, we feed hay to cows and horses, and I don't see none of them here. She looked at me. She turned red in the face. I said, what happened to just men walk up and introduce yourself and say, my name is whatever it is, and I'd like to talk to you. I'm a manager in this department. Could I have a word with you when you get time? What happened today? What's up with this? Hey, you. But this is 2025 at RDU1. Things of that nature are still happening. So why is it that we are still fighting for the same things, the same rights, privileges that our predecessors were fighting for? Does that make sense to any of y'all? Something went wrong. A lot of us went to sleep. It's time we woke up. Wake up. This has got to stop, because we're not just fighting for our children, our families, and our communities. As Ida B. Wells once said, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them, on the lies of the oppressor, the racism, the injustices that we still face today. They haven't changed much from the 30s, from the 40s, even though I wasn't back there, but I remember what my predecessors, my grandparents used to talk about. See, being from the Jim Crow South, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional with you. I remember seeing the signs that said color only. I used to ask my mom, what is color? I say, ain't we all colored, mama? I didn't know. I didn't understand. I was a little kid. And we used to have to go around to the back to get the day old meats that they didn't want. I remember seeing the hanging trees and the nooses and the crosses. I remember. I'm gonna tell y'all my age in a minute, though, but that's okay. April 25th, I'll be 71 years young. Thank God. And I'm battling cancer, and thank God I'm in remission. I'm battling oppression. But were it not for God of my understanding, none of these things would be possible. None. But I want you to know that we must stand firm. Now is not the time for the weak will or the faint of heart. We've got to stand firm. We've got to unite. And we need to stay grounded, my brothers and sisters, in the truth that we are God's children. We're created in His image and deserving of every gift, every right that He promised us. How many of y'all believe that? Raise your hands. All right. I believe that with every fiber of my being, or I would not be standing before you today, bringing you this message. We must stand firm. We've got to, because we deserve the equality and the fullness of life. Every one of us does. Our families do. Our children, our grandchildren. And as Angela Davis once said, I am no longer accepting things I cannot change. Okay, hear me. I am changing the things that I refuse that government to accept. Enough is enough. You gotta draw the line somewhere. And we deserve a world where our children don't have to fight the same battles that we're having to fight like we're doing right now. I mean, we would be going backwards like we have been for so long because we're still fighting the same battles that a lot of our predecessors fought. That makes no sense to me, other than the fact that we have rocked the mantle. What's our motto? Hold the line. Some of us have let go of the line. We need to pick it back up, hang on to it, and pass the baton on to future generations. I'm so glad to see so many of young people involved in this movement. Let's give them a round of applause. Because if our future generations don't hold the line, or we don't pass the baton on to them, the Lord God help us. We're lost forever, forever and ever. So this is a must. We've got to do this. We deserve a world where freedom is not a gift, but a right. Because we are the beloved children of the Most High God. And no system, none, has the right to deny us what God has promised. Now, more than ever, my brothers and sisters, right now, right today, April 5th, 2025. Hear me and hear me well. Right now, right today, it is time, more than ever, it is absolutely necessary that we organize the workers of this nation. Workers who for so long have been the backbone of our communities, have long been the ones who carried the weight of labor. Am I not right? The workers keep the wheels of industry and service turning. But too often, those workers are exploited, overlooked, and treated less than human. We must come together. We must. And unite in solidarity and demand what is ours. Fair wages, respect, dignity, and an end to exploitation. When we organize, we become stronger and stronger than any individual force. As workers, we're the ones who build, who serve. But when we divide, don't come together and unite and work in solidarity, we're weak. And the system depends, no. The system thrives on this. Because years ago, when the colonials had all the slaves on the plantations, and if I recall what I read correctly, they got a guy named Willie Lynch. I don't know if any of you ever heard about Willie Lynch, but the colonials got him to come over and show them how to keep the slaves under control or how to make a slave. And he told them one thing, because he had like a little set of rules, and he was going to show them how to break them and how to keep them slaves. One thing he told them was keep them divided, pit them against each other, turn the male slaves against the women slaves, and turn the women slaves against the male slaves, and teach them that we, speaking about the slave owners, are the only ones that they can trust. And once you get that, see, in your mind, you got it. And so much of that is still going on today. How many of you remember that song, Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow by En Vogue? Well, a couple of you do. But it says, free your mind. See, for so long, we've been asleep, and we've been conditioned to thinking the way the oppressor wants us to think. And we've gotten so complacent in that life. It's time to wake up. And the one thing that we've got to do is organize. Thank you. Harriet Tubman once said, you know, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves. So see, where is that at? In your mind. See, a lot of us really still don't even realize that we're slaves. And in closing, I just want to leave you with this, if I may. It's absolutely essential that every one of you here today go back to your workplaces, your families, your communities, your homes, and organize. Take an action. Without action, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So I beseech each and every one of you, when you go back to wherever you're from, in your workplace, organize. Whether it's your church family, if they want to support you, organize. If it's on your job, organize. The time is now, like this brother previously stated. It's now, my brothers and sisters. If not now, then when? Thank you.
Yes, indeed, Bombay. We appreciate you. Thank you for those powerful, powerful words. We got our second keynote speaker about to come up right now. But this brother is also special.
4 years ago, I
A little over 3 years now. January was our
came to her that talked about like something needed to be changed at Amazon RD1, and we went to work.
What do you think it's going to take? So you got 30% of people on board. That's employees at RDU. So what do you think it's going to take to get? You got to get half, I assume, right? Or do you got to get more than that? What does the fight look like?
The bare minimum is 30%.
Oh, you already reached the minimum.
We did have a little over 30%.
42% to be exact.
But the size of the warehouse and the turnover rate, it's a very challenging and daunting job. It takes a lot of organization, a lot of due diligence, a lot of patience.
Well, you're a fighter.
No, but the way I look at it is that we are a grassroots organization without any backing of a legacy union. The reason we decided to go grassroots and be independent is because all of our interactions with larger unions have been negative. It is almost as if they're part of this structure that is racist, that exploits, and what we recognize, as Reverend Wesley was saying tonight, a part of our history is that anytime structures and systems fail us, we go outside of those systems and structures and we build our own organizations. Hence, that's why you have the Black Church, you have HBCUs, and so much more that you have. And the building being the majority Black and brown people, we realize that our structure needs to be built a little stronger within our organization as well. But even without the legacy union, we may have lost our union election, but we got 10% more than, let's say, Bessemer in Alabama, who had the backing of RWDSU on the first round.
Why the legacy unions push back on you guys?
Because we're a threat to their...
Are they mostly white organizations?
Absolutely.
Are they? Okay.
And
I did not know.
And these organizations that we're speaking about, one, according to the system that we're fighting.
Right.
That's the way they're structured. This system of oppression, this system of taking on their identity.
Right.
Colonizing. We refuse to be colonized.
What is this looking like inside the break room at Amazon right now? What does this fight look like?
Right now, we're not fighting. We're assessing what we did right.
Is there a tension? They know you're here doing this, right?
100%, yes.
So is there tension with the break room? There's Mary, stay away from her kind of thing, or is it more welcoming kind of thing?
I'm accustomed to that.
Whatever.
It's the election anyway.
You're very lovable, Mary.
A lot, but I don't share the same ideals and ideas and aspirations that a lot of my coworkers do. Just like I said earlier in the brief speech I gave in there, Harriet Tubman said she freed 1,000 slaves. She could have freed 1,000 more.
But they didn't know they were?
If they knew they were slaves. See, a lot of people at the workplace are so accustomed to the crumbs, the stale chips, the pizza, the pieces of fruit, the bananas that are turning brown, and the t-shirts. See, the crumbs that the oppressor continues to give, and we've gotten so complacent and so accustomed to accepting those crumbs. I've forgotten my heritage. If I ever knew it, I don't even realize that I'm a slave. See, it's here.
Right. Well, I hope you guys continue to push this message. I want to follow the story, and I want to get you guys on the podcast for real. The fight for workers' rights is bigger than any one of us. It's a movement that needs all of us. C.A.U.S.E is standing up to one of the most powerful corporations on the planet, but their success depends on your support. help amplify their voices, share this video with your friends and networks. Like and comment to show your support for these brave workers fighting for justice, and together we can make their message impossible to ignore. Follow C.A.U.S.E on social media to stay updated with how you can get involved. Every action counts, every voice matters. Stand with Amazon workers today. Solidarity starts here.